Hello there, space adventurers. It's time for Star Trek. Star Trek. Da, 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 da. People just immediately stopped watching when they heard that. Like, oh, whoa, oh, don't make funny noises while you're doing this. Alright, let me see. Game is up. Let me switch it over so you can see what's going on here. There we go. And audio is on. Should be able to hear me. You can hear the game. Alright. So, last time I streamed was Friday night. That was basically just the tutorial and intro. Let's see, the new Federation tutorial was pretty good. I liked it. But today is when the game really begins. We actually are going to venture out with our new ship. Proper ship. Spoilers on the tile screen here. I was gonna see a new uniform we got for myself and the crew. Let the game load up here. Loading of space dock. Welcome back, Mr. Maven. I saw your hip do a little twist there. So, anyway. Let's show off what I've done with the uniform here. As you can see, this is it's the Starfleet Academy uniform, but I went ahead and recolored it to make it look a little bit more kind of like the lower decks type of uniform, with a little bit of a white in it, but something that's still unique to this character and their crew as they're about to set off into the unknown here. So before we get underway, it's a few things I do need to say. I do have some rules for this character. Now the first rule, this is probably, I want to make this clear here. This is mainly going to be a story-focused playthrough, meaning I'm going to focus on the storyline listed here, and I'm going to be going in order. There's no skipping ahead is not allowed. I'm not allowed to skip ahead in the story here, because I know people who are familiar with the game, you're going to know that, oh, there's tons of great mission reward stuff in some of these later missions that would be awesome to have. No, I'm not skipping ahead to get those. I will get those when I get there, but not before then, meaning we're going to go in order. I'm not skipping. No skipping ahead here. That said, I am allowing, I saved up a whole bunch of extra materials and stuff for this playthrough and this character. I went ahead and used those. I had an elite captain token. I went ahead and used that on this character, so I have the extra slots and everything. Also, I am allowing my other characters, they call them toons in this game, whatever. I'm allowing them to share resources with this character here, meaning they can craft materials for them. And as you can see here, a lot of this stuff here is just purple quality gear, which has been crafted. Except for the rifle. This rifle came from a, I don't remember exactly what this came from. It came from a freebie set or something. So anyway, I gotta make a pulse rifle. But I'm not gonna outfit everybody in purple gear, but I will give them, they all got weapons. And it kind of goes in the other rule here. Another rule here. Character classes can only use certain weapons. I know it's probably kind of a weird a weird restriction to put on myself, but you know, I figured it would probably it makes sense in my head, and we'll see how this goes. But I made a list between the tactical engineering and science characters. They can only use certain types of weapons. Meaning, I cannot give everybody a split beam rifle or a full auto rifle. Full auto rifle is going to be restricted purely to a tactical character. I actually have my list here because, surprisingly enough, there's lots of different types of weapons as opposed to energy types of energy. I want to make clear I'm talking about the type of weapon, not the energy type or damage type. Damage type is a different thing. Damage type refers to phaser or tetrion or plasma. That's the damage type. The type of weapon is the basic configuration of the weapon. Like Elisa here has a full auto rifle. As has a sniper rifle. That's what I'm talking about. Type of weapon, as opposed to energy type. Speaking of energy type, since we are Starfleet, I'm going to try to stick to phaser as much as possible here, to try and stick with, you know, theming here. But like a science character can use a stun pistol. They can use a split beam. They can use the pulse wave, sniper, and the compression pistol. That's it. They can't use any other type of weapon. But anyway, it's not like I'm restricted to one weapon. There's like each class can use like 5. They have a variety of five choices of weapons they can use. So it's not as restrictive as it sounds. So, but anyway, actually I did change up. Speaking of tailoring, I did change the Pharrell's hair. I noticed that there are some Type 2 hairs for some characters. I don't know when those were introduced, but the Type 2s are like improved version of an older hair texture. And I figured Tavera would have the updated hair texture, but she didn't for some reason, so I went ahead and switched it to the updated texture, which is a little bit better. You probably can't really tell, but if you go in the tailor, you can find these things. I'll talk about the ship when we actually get up to space to check out the ship here. So I've already set up the bridge skills and stuff that I'm going to use. I don't have a whole lot of skills right now because I'm still level 3. So there's not a whole lot I can do right now, but it's there. And before we get going, I am kind of experimenting with the captain's log system here. I know this is probably something that probably not a lot of people know about, but you can create your own logs in here and just kind of write it up as if you're doing your own captain's log for your character. So I kind of wrote something up kind of summarizing what happened in the last mission here from the perspective of, you know, the character I'm playing here. So if you want to pause the screen and read through it, I'm not going to read through it for you because I want to kind of get on to playing the game here. But if you kind of want to read through this, you can and judge my maybe not the best writing, but you know, you can read for fun if you want. And we also add supplementals to logs as well here. So this is sort of explaining what happened to the previous ship, the Junks, which is Taggart's ship, and we kind of were able to convince Quinn and Janeway to let us have a better ship. So that's what's kind of happened in between, from the last time I played here. So, and also my character has what am I talking about? Biography now. I kind of wrote this up here today. See if you can read this here. Just kind of explain what this character is. Delphim Del Maven, he's a human Romulan hybrid. Abandoned when he was an infant. Doesn't know who his parents was. I'm gonna role play that he was born in 2387, like the very year that the Romulus system was destroyed. So maybe a little mystery there, or coincidental connection there. But we'll see. I haven't really decided how I'm gonna play this out here, but little bit of backstory of this character. He was raised as a human in a human colony, so he doesn't act like a Romulan, if that makes any sense, because most Romulans act like very duplicitous, and we want to betray and trick people. He's not like that. He acts like a human, because he was raised as a human. So it's kind of like the situation, like, I would say, like, Worf had. Worf was raised by human parents, so he's not quite as antagonistic as a purely raised Klingon, even though he still is culturally he's very much Klingon. But maybe it compares him more closer to Alexander, maybe. But anyway. Anyway, so he joined Starfleet because, you know, he wants to do his part, because conflict is brewing all over the galaxy, which, you know, is what is actually happening in the game. So he's going to help out. Anyway. So, up here, in case you don't recognize this area, this is the mezzanine in Starbase. Again, it's one of those things, I don't know how many people know about this area. It's a nice little quiet area you can get away from some bustle down below. This is Starbase stuff is down below here. You can jump down there if you want. We have a little memorial plaque to various Star Trek VIPs who are no longer with us, right here. And you can find the same thing on New Romulus and Kronos. I don't know. There might be one on Deep Space Nine. I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about on Earth space stuff. So let's go ahead and get to the ship, because I know this is kind of a long-winded intro here. Let's get to the ship and prepare to begin our first mission here. Hopefully this ship will appear in the where I want it to be. Probably not. I'll treat it a little bit. So. Load. No, maybe by the time I get to the Stormfall stuff, maybe the Terran arc will be completed. At least that's what I'm hoping on. Oh yeah, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Okay. But anyway, as you can see, I got a Reliant class ship. Space dock, please. Please, why? I'm like so far from the space dock and they slow me down. Thrusters only are allowed in space dock. Let's see, I was supposed to be over here. The game put me all the way on the other side. Because I wanted to pretend the ship is in dock here. Turn. Now I'm stuck. That's a good shot of the ship. Unstick myself. Okay, there we go. Unstick. Back up. Back up. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get myself in the right spot here. Bear with me. Go in. There we go. Sometimes a little bit of a trick to get in here. Come on. Having a lot of trouble getting in here today. Did this before and didn't have as much trouble. That's probably pretty good. Alright. Anyway. Welcome to my ship. This is the NCC-0244, the USS Gallant Reliant class ship. We ran into Captain, well, technically Lieutenant Maven, still a lieutenant, for his effort in exploring the galaxy and his investigations into the Iconian threat. The nice, sleek, modern ship. Get a nice screenshot here. Yeah. Game 2. So equipment. This is a tier 6 ship. That doesn't mean it's going to be super powerful. It's going to level up as I play along. So it's going to start out with some of the slots locked away here, but I went ahead and gave it some crafted gear donated by my very helpful other tunes. I also gave it the prolonged engagement phaser set, which is a nice little freebie they have to stick on here. So the prolonged engagement set, from what I understand, it starts out a little weaker, but then it builds up power the longer a fight goes on. So that's why it's called the prolonged engagement set. It's a pretty good free set to have. So you can get that from the lithium store. There we go. So still delayed here. I bought these a long time ago, so I can just reclaim them. So to me, they're free. Everything here I bought before with in the lithium store, so I can just reclaim it anytime. So prolonged engagement set along with the console. As of now, I got some consumable stuff here. I went ahead and got the red matter capacitator because I just had an extra token. Just threw it on there. But yeah. Oh, and the shuttle, the Yellowstone shuttle I got from one of the, I don't remember the exact name of the pack, but it's a free runabout shuttle, so I went ahead and got that anyway. What is this impulse drive on here? Tetrion plasma. I didn't even notice this. Tetrion plasma impulse engine. Okay. I guess it comes with a unique impulse engine. I didn't even notice that. Anyway, and take a look at the starship interior while we're in space dock. My choices for a starship bridge are kind of limited, but I tried to go with something I thought would look the best for a small cruiser like this. While we loading. Ship interiors sometimes have a really long loading time. Although I have noticed on my Klingon character, the bridge loads up very quick on my Klingon character for some reason. I don't know why. But every other bridge interior takes a long time to load up. Except for my Klingon. Suspicious. Anyway. I went with this bridge because it's nice and compact. Or as compact as can be. And the consoles are kind of where they should be at eye level. Some of the bridge interiors have consoles that are like 10 feet up the wall, and like, how is anybody supposed to reach that? Doesn't make any sense, but anyway, this seems compact. It's the, I don't remember the name. It's supposed to be based on the Defiant bridge. It's okay. It's alright. The only problem I have with this is that the chair, the captain's chair, well, for one, I can't sit in it, and it's kind of disconnected from the floor. I don't know if you can see that. So it's just kind of floating in the middle of the room. So I'm just going to pretend it's not floating in the middle of the floor like that. See, I think my ready room is over here. Yeah. This is the captain's ready room. They They all look the same in every bridge. There's a few things you can do here. The important thing is I have access to my account bank over here, which is nice to have, so I always have access to the account bank. And we can go explore the rest of the ship. It's not that impressive, but you can take a look. Yes, my crew beams into the hallways. And the first thing you'll probably notice here is like, wow, these are really big hallways for such a small ship. Yeah, these hallways are enormous. Absolutely way too big. But, you know, it's just one of those things that the devs are probably never going to fix because there's never really a need to, because, you know, there's not many people who enjoy the ship interiors. I'm one of those people who likes to go inside my ship and check things out. So I guess I'm in the minority. Anyway, this is technically supposed to be my bar lounge area. This is a very, very big room. But anyway, I got a bar. You can get a drink if you want to. The seating area, not many crew members here yet. I hate this star texture. This is probably the worst star texture because it doesn't look like space at all. This looks like it's just black with random white speckles on it, which just looks awful. You know, there's one thing, devs, that you could just please change about the interiors. Fix this. This looks awful. I am not going to mince words with this. This space texture is just garbage. It will be so easy to change that. To make it look like something that actually looks like space up there. But anyway. Poker table. There's a few other points of interest. There's the captain's room. Room. This is over here. Let's see. I think this is the med bay. Sick bay. Yes, this is sick bay. Technically, I don't have a CMO yet, a Chief Medical Officer yet, so I'm just gonna pretend I have a doctor somewhere. And my personal quarters are over here. Way down this hallway. Captain's quarters. Again, kind of ginormous, but whatever. This is my bed. Nice square bed. For some reason, every Starfleet captain has a picture of the Akira class. It's a very popular ship amongst Starfleet. They all have a picture of it in their quarters. And let's see. We can go to engineering. Slightly different hallway. It's a little bit smaller, but still kind of big. And sorry to disappoint, but this is not the same engineering I had on the other ship. On the tutorial ship. God, I really hope I can get that interior on a ship, because it's so much better than this interior. So anyway, this is my warp core. It's big. as is everything. But this interior stuff, I think dates back to when the game first was released. So a lot of stuff is old. Oh, there we go. There goes the rubber banding inside my own ship. Can't do anything. I did read somewhere that the new updated bridge was going to become available at some point. At least that was the intent. I know Cryptic will say a lot of things, but they say they're supposed to get that new updated bridge and interior to people at some point. When that's going to be, I don't know. It could be a year from now. Engineering lab. It's not pretty much here. You can talk to some of these people and get duty officer assignments. I'm not at the point yet where duty officers are a thing yet, so because I'm just starting the game. But if you want extra duty officer assignments, you can talk to some of these people in the labs and get extra assignments. You can go back to the lounge and get assignments for the bartender, as well as the counselor. Yeah. And where's my turbo left? Over here. I'm getting lost on my own ship. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that's pretty much everything you can look at on the interior of the ship. So, anyway. I think we're ready to begin our first mission here. Klingon War. Diplomatic orders.
We have a diplomatic mission for you. An important Vulcan ambassador is traveling from his homeworld to the monastery at Pajem. Capturing the ambassador would be a major coup for the Klingons or Orions, so we're assigning you to make sure everything goes smoothly. You are to escort Ambassador Soketh to Pajem. Please meet him at Vulcan. Once you locate him, speak with him about the transport mission. Do whatever is necessary to keep him safe.
Alright, we're gonna go meet a Vulcan ambassador and escort him to wherever he needs to be. Alright, Helm. Take us out. Tactical view? Whatever. Loading. Alright, remember, you're only allowed to use thrusters in space dock. And hold on. Okay, there we go. It's like where's my skills? Anyway. Get out. And we'll have to kind of nudge our way out, back out of here. Alright. I don't have any creative way to say go to work. Alright. I'll come up with something later. Anyway, engage. There we go.
My friend sacrificed so much to secure peace with the Klingons. I bear the responsibility for the consequences to him and his crew, a thought that troubles me to this day. The hope was that this alliance would last forever. It did not. The Klingons have chosen war. The Federation is doing its utmost to protect its borders and the billions of innocents who call this space home. But I fear that this conflict may be our undoing.
We have like a little bit of narration from Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy, for a few parts of the game. As we travel the galaxy, we'll get some more narration from him from time to time. Alright. Captain, we've arrived at the Vulcan system. I took the liberty of contacting the ambassador's aide when we arrived. Tabella says that the ambassador has certain arrangements that he prefers when traveling. She would like to go over them with you. Would you like me to put her on the main view screen? Absolutely, put her on.
Greetings. Thank you for agreeing to escort the ambassador to Pajem. Ambassador Sokath is currently attending a ritual to honor the end of the Kalrek holiday. He will be done soon, but the ambassador is hesitant to use transporter technology. His bias against the transporters is not logical, but I have come to accept it.
You know, that's perfectly fine. We have shuttlecraft.
I believe that Sokath would be much more comfortable traveling by shuttlecraft. I have received clearance for you to land near the ambassador's location. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Alright, I do too. Or shuttlecraft. We are ready to land on Vulcan, sir. When you are ready to make our final approach, let me know. We have our shuttle interior. It's based on the runabout. We'll probably see this again sometime. And let's land.
Starfleet shuttlecraft. This is Vulcan Orbital Control. You are cleared to land at the requested coordinates. Welcome to Vulcan. Please enjoy your stay.
Captain, the ambassador and his aide are waiting for you at the temple at the top of the rise. You can speak to them there and find out if the ambassador needs anything else from us before we depart for Pajem. Alright. This is Vulcan. We can actually come back to this map anytime. There's a few things around here. If you want to go gather resources, there are a couple of resources around here. Sometimes there's a Endeavor quest to grab ground resources, and I'll just come here and grab them, because this place is easy to get to. We don't have any enemies to deal with here. Yeah, for speaking to the Ambassador. Okay. Oh, and here we are at the top here. I've always had this question about Vulcans. Do you know how to live on a very arid desert world like this? But also kind of understand most Vulcans are vegan. They don't eat meat most of the time. So I've often kind of wondered, like, where do Vulcans grow their food? Because there's so much of their planet is just desert. I've always wondered about that. Remains a mystery. Welcome to Vulcan.
Captain, I regret to inform you that we have come to an impasse in completing your mission. Allow me to explain. As you know, Pajem is sacred to the Vulcan people, and access to it is strictly prohibited. Ordinarily, this would not present any difficulty, but Savin, the leader of the order that maintains the monastery, has chosen this moment to illogically refuse to grant Ambassador Soketh permissions to meet with the abbot at Pajem. This is most abnormal.
Can the trip wait until Savin changes his mind?
The ambassador has considered going to the council to request that they overrule Savin, but the process will take time that he simply does not have. If the ambassador is unable to complete his journey to Pajem now, he will have to delay it until after the trade conference at Corridan is complete, and that could take weeks.
I wonder why Savin won't grant the ambassador permission.
The ambassador, I'm afraid, has spent too much time off-world. I have seen it change him. His interactions with other species have grown easier over the years, but our own people have become more challenging for him to deal with. Perhaps you could speak to Savin. I know he has a great deal of respect for Starfleet, and you might have an easier time than he has in convincing him to grant the ambassador's request.
Well, let me speak to Savin then. That's so tough.
Peace and long life. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
There's a lot of stuff I can talk to him about. Soketh says you won't permit him to visit Pajem.
Sarketh accuses me of abandoning logic, but he is the one refusing to explain his reasons for wanting to go to Pajem. The planet is sacred. Our ancestors walked those paths. They found understanding and serenity in its quiet. When I am at Pajem, I feel more at peace than any place else in the galaxy. Pajem has been touched by outside influences in the past. The Federation is at war. Now more than any other time, we must protect this refuge. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Why do the Vulcans restrict access to Pajem?
Many years ago, Pajem was used for political purposes. Technology used to spy on the Andorians was hidden beneath the sacred sanctuary. It should never have happened. Buildings that had stood for 12 centuries were destroyed because we allowed politics and war in a place where there should only be logic and contemplative thought. When the monastery was rebuilt, we pledged to keep it safe from the cares of the galaxy. Only those who seek peace may enter.
So this is stuff that happened back in Star Trek Enterprise, the show. When Archer and T'Pol stopped by Pajem, they kind of accidentally discovered that Pajem was being used as a secret base to spy on the Andorians. Kind of caused a little bit of an incident. That's what he's referring to.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors? Even
Well,
of people who reject emotion
Vulcan people have
require
monsters.
peace and contemplation. We are a spiritual people. Our rituals guide us throughout our lives. Vulcans who choose a life of study and isolation, as the monks at Pajem have done, help us maintain our connection with our ancestors. The monk's study of Sirach's words in the Kirshara give us all a greater understanding of who we are and who we should strive to be. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Tell me more about Sirach.
Centuries ago, the Vulcans were creatures of emotion. We fought one another in a series of wars that devastated our planet. Our species was on the brink of annihilation. Serac taught us to embrace peace and to put aside our emotions in favor of logic. Serac ushered in a time of awakening on Vulcan. His writings, the Kirshara, shaped all that we are. Without Serac, the Vulcans you know would not exist. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Don't you trust Ambassador Sokev?
I neither trust him nor distrust the Ambassador. I simply do not understand him. He will not reveal his reasons for wishing to speak to the Abbot, and has refused a mind meld with me. Normally I could respect his privacy, but other things I have heard trouble me. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Well, tell me more about what you've heard.
Sokoth has spent more and more time away from Vulcan in recent years, and seems ill at ease in what was once his home. Tapella admits he has changed in the past few months. He spends hours closeted in his study, and does not share meals with his staff as he used to. Tapella says that the stress of the war with the Klingon Empire is taking its toll. She hopes the peace of Pajem will restore him. Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
What if the Abbot agrees to speak to Sokev via subspace?
The monks do not use any unnecessary technology. Even replicators are not permitted on Pajem. There is a communications array available to the monks for emergencies. Soketh's request does not qualify.
Okay, so he has to go there.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Is there any way I can persuade you to allow Sokev to visit Pajem?
I will permit it if you will pledge to me, on your honor as a Starfleet officer, that you will protect Pajem from harm. Soketh says his reasons for wanting to speak to the Abbot are private. I will accept that, but only if you are with him. I know I can trust Starfleet. Please, protect Pajem from any who would violate its sanctity.
Okay. I will do my best.
Welcome to Vulcan. Do you have any questions?
Tell me about Pajem.
Pajem is a small world near Andoria. It is sacred to our people. There have been Vulcans on Pajem for centuries. In 2152, the ancient buildings that housed our monastery were destroyed by the Andorians.
The Andorians? But they are also part of the Federation.
It was a failing in our logic that led to conflict with the Andorians. We have corrected our error. After the Federation was founded, a group of Andorians, Vulcans, and humans rebuilt the monastery as a symbol of peaceful coexistence and cooperation. Since then, a group of monks has lived there. They study the ideals of Serac. Do you have any questions?
What business do you have at Pajem?
My business is my own. If you must know more, I require a meeting with the Abbot. He will not use subspace communications, so if I am to receive his counsel, I need to meet with him directly.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've spoken to Savin. Why doesn't he trust you?
How should I know? He is a small man with small concerns. Thankfully, he has listened to reason, and our journey won't be delayed any longer. I am ready to leave now. Is the shuttle prepared for departure?
Yes. Yes, sir. Let's go. Okay. You're following me. All right. Okay, so, the Ambassador is acting a little suspicious to the other Vulcans, but he really wants to go to Pajem, so we're gonna take him to Pajem. see the monks. And maybe he will straighten himself out. We'll see. We shall see.
Starfleet shuttlecraft, we have logged your flight trajectory, and you are cleared for departure. Live long and prosper.
Ambassador Sokev has returned to his quarters, Captain. You can leave the system whenever you like. Alright, well. Let's see. Let's go. That sound okay? That sounds okay.
Your inventory has a replicator that will allow you to buy and sell items. Press I to open your inventory.
I know. As you know, it's like right over here. Sir, I'm picking up an unusual energy reading in this system. We should scan the system before we take the ambassador to the surface. Agreed. Sensors on maximum. Klingons. They don't look friendly.
This is Captain Katak to all Klingon vessels. Target their warp drive. There will be no escaping our vengeance this time.
Red alert. Let's show them what this new ship can do. Captain, we're being hailed by the Klingons. Now let's see what they want to say on screen.
Cease your fire, Captain! Perhaps today is a day for words. My fellow captains were blinded by our vengeance toward the shapeshifter aboard your vessel. They have died with honor. But if I am to die this day, then I would prefer to regale the halls of Stovokor with the tale of that foul creature's death.
Shapeshifter? What are you talking about?
Ha! So even the mighty Federation has been fooled by the beast. Your guest from Vulcan is not as he or she seems, Captain. They are an Undine. They put on a false face and try to control us. But we Klingons know better. We will hunt them down until the last of these honorless dogs dies screaming.
And Undine? Have you any proof?
Proof? Pah! Allow me to stick a blade in its belly while I look it in the eye while it dies. That should be proof enough, even for Starfleet.
I'll take that into consideration, but we're probably not going to do that.
If you wish the honor of the kill yourself, then it is yours to have. So long as the Undine dies, I will meet my death with eyes wide open and victory in my heart. I await your decision. Close hailing frequencies.
Okay. Crew, what do you think? Can we get like a nice little in-shot here? Oh yeah. Alright, bridge officer crew, what do you say? Captain, the sensor scans indicate the Klingon vessel's warp drive, shields, and weapon systems are all offline. I don't even think they have impulse power. Whatever you decide to do, they can't really do much about it. Alright. Tavrail, what do you think? The Undine are a species that was first encountered by the crew of the USS Voyager. They cataloged them as Species 8472. As the Klingon commander indicated, they are indeed capable of changing shape. Additionally, they possess telepathic abilities that aid them in infiltrating the cultures of other species. So Ambassador Sokev could be one. I'm afraid that is a conclusion that we cannot rule out, Captain. I could conduct a test to determine if the Ambassador is who he claims to be. Unfortunately, that would violate his ambassadorial immunity. Yes, ambassadorial immunity. Tricky things. Klingon vessel was waiting response, Captain. Still waiting. What do you think, Elisa? The Undine are physically superior to humans and consider anyone from our dimension to be an inferior life form. The vessels are more than a match for the Borg. They represent a great threat to Starfleet. Where is Ambassador Sokev right now? The Ambassador is still in his quarters. Sarah recommends sending a security detail to detain the Ambassador until we are certain of his identity. That's a sound precaution, agreed. And Zarva. The Undine comes from a dimension known as fluidic space. They use quantum singularities to move into ours. I'm afraid much of their technology still remains a mystery to us. But one thing is certain, it is not to be underestimated. So why use a Starfleet vessel? That I can't say, Captain. But as the Undine are virtually unknown in the Beta Quadrant, my guess is that they are aiming to conceal their presence here. And the Klingons? What the Klingons are saying could be true, Captain. If the Undine are in the Beta Quadrant, it might just be that the Klingons sniffed them out before us. In this case, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Are we following that logic? Yes, I know. Alright, call the Ambassador to the bridge and open a channel to the Klingon vessel. Let's settle this right here, right now.
My patience is growing thin, Captain. If you lack the stomach to slay the beast aboard your vessel, then any Klingon here would gladly do it for you. I'd hate for you to stain that pretty Starfleet uniform with Undine blood.
Very generous, but unnecessary.
Then the beast is slain? Makar! Very good. Perhaps you've the heart of a warrior after all. Let me look upon our enemy, and tonight we will dine together as warriors and drink to the honored dead.
That's not what I said. Here's Ambassador Sokev.
Captain, I take my meditations very seriously. Why have I been summoned to the bridge?
Accused? Meet your accuser.
Alive? You're a fool, Captain! Strike now before it's too late!
Not without proof to talk.
You want proof? Then lower your shields and allow me to beam over. Once the Undine's blood coats my blade, you'll see it for what it truly is. A Grint hound in Tark's clothing.
Ambassador, allow me to explain.
There's no need, Captain. The situation is not difficult to unravel. My concern lies in the logic of you entertaining this Klingon's meritless claim.
Meritless, but not unreasonable.
A most illogical conclusion. Allow us to examine the facts, Captain. You have a crippled Klingon vessel, whose captain has made unsubstantiated claims that I am an Undine, a species that is known to both the Federation and the Klingon Empire as a considerable threat.
Thus a reasonable consideration.
Potentially, but only if a great many other factors were to be true. Is it not much more likely that the Klingons have, in the face of defeat, instead sought to exploit Starfleet's desire for peaceful resolutions to conflict in order to repair their vessel and renew their assault?
Some may give him the status on the Klingon vessel. Weapons inoperable. Warp drive is still offline. Wait. I'm detecting an energy surge. They're engaging their cloaking device. Let's go back to Red Alert. Lock weapons.
A true warrior strikes without mercy, Captain. I only hope to teach you this lesson personally before the Undine does. We may not be able to best your vessel, but a Klingon knows many roads to victory. The beast may have evaded my vengeance for now, but I can still ruin its plans here at Pajem.
Fire in that direction. Darn it. I've lost them on sensors, Captain. They're gone. Scan around. Somebody look out a window. Captain, I'm detecting energy signatures on Pajem's surface. They're in the vicinity of the monastery. They appear to be transporter signals. Signs indicate they're Klingon. Alright, I guess we gotta go down there and talk to them. Let's take the away team. People gather up. Captain, shall I accompany you? No, it's too dangerous. Just stay here.
A wise precaution. Though I admit I am eager to see my people safe, I will await word until the monastery is secured. And Captain, let not my journey here be for naught.
Alright, away team to transporter room 1. I've also on sensors. Captain, they're gone. Okay. I'm gonna get this ore. I know it's not like super important, but I was like, I see these things, I'm like, I gotta get it. Your team is ready. Okay, yeah, in a moment. Beam down. There's 5. Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. I do want to try and gather some R&D materials early on, just to kind of have this stuff when I start doing research. So we have a potential Undine. As mentioned, the Undine are from Voyager. And they were called Species 8472. In fact, they weren't started to be called Undine until this game, I think. Because before then, they were just known as Species 8472. And officially, I think they're still known as that. Just the game decided to give them a name. Which is fine, I'm okay with that. You're probably wondering why I went with the Reliant class ship. It's because I like it. That's the reason why. It is the perfect quintessential starter starship. There's no frills, it looks good, does the job. And it's perfect for what we're doing in the early part of the game. Alright, let's go. Captain, we need to secure the area and then make our way towards the monastery, which is located at the top of the hill. I'm reading multiple Klingon patrols between us and the main building, sir. Recommend we proceed with caution. Stay alert. We need to find those monks. Alright. I have a couple of skills I can use. A grenade and Compact Lightning. This is another freebie bonus from the Dilithium rewards. Oh, Klingon. He didn't see me. Oh, now he sees me. He's dead. Oh, come on, rubber banding. Hello, Mr. Android. Again, that's another mission reclaim. That's a rewards reclaim. Actually, you know, I just realized that my keybind for this thing is actually reversed. I want to fix that. This is supposed to be 4. This is supposed to be 5. There we go. Okay. What is this? Typos. Oh, okay. More Klingons. They're coming back. Roke egg blood pie. Just what I wanted. Oh, there's a thing. Whoa. The temporal displacement is strong today. Oh, apparently I can't go back here. There's a wall there. Oh, looks like one of the monks is dead. Unfortunate. Sir, we're receiving an alert from Vulcan. Capella says she must speak to you immediately. I'll patch her through to your tricorder.
I have terrible news. Vulcan security forces have discovered the body of Ambassador Soketh. They have determined that he was killed by a phaser blast at short range. His remains were discovered in a stasis chamber hidden in a cavern beneath the Ambassador's residence. The Ambassador on your ship, the one that I have been working for, is an imposter.
Uh-huh. Dun-dun.
You need to be very careful. This imposter was able to fool Soketh's closest associates for months. He is crafty and very patient. Now that he has been discovered, he will be dangerous.
Captain, security teams have reached Ambassador Soketh's quarters. He's gone. They're searching the ship, but... Sir, unauthorized use of the transporter is detected. The Vulcan government is requesting that the imposter Soketh be detained and returned to Vulcan for questioning. Sir, whomever used the transporter erased the logs. But I have a feeling that the imposter is on the planet's surface. I recommend to relocate him immediately. Well, now hold on. If he erased the logs, how do you know he used the transporter? How do you know this, Flores? We'll find him. Or he'll find us.
Such emotion on your face. I see now my deception has been exposed. Pity. Capturing the abbot so we could replace him as well would have been beneficial. But we are strong. We will prevail. You are weak, and the weak shall perish.
He's a monster. Where are you going? What? Recommend return to the Gallant and search for the Undine ship. You need to find the Undine and take it back to Starfleet. Let's get after him. So the Undine are now in the beta quadrant. That can't be good. Come on, game. Loading. Captain, there's an Undine ship on Intercept's course. Sir, the Gallant doesn't have their armaments to handle an Undine attack. Starfleet reports that it is sending ships to assist us, but they are about 60 seconds out. We have to hold out until the reinforcements get here, Captain. If we target their torpedoes, we might have a chance. Alright, so survive for 60 seconds. Okay? Send a signal to the Undine ship. Whoa. Message transmitted. Hopefully Undine will take it seriously. Okay. I don't know what the message was. Yeah. Torpedoes don't do that much damage. There's reinforcements. Oh, that flashing is actually kind of annoying. There we go. Big torpedo. Didn't do much. Royal Undine ship is tough. Go down.
I don't know if the Undine will listen to your message. Maybe it will make a difference. The Undine ultimately want to keep fluidic space free from outside influence. When Catherine Janeway first encountered them in the Delta Quadrant, she promised we would stay away. And we held to our end of the bargain until the Undine sent agents to infiltrate our governments. But the Undine only sent those agents because the Iconians fooled them into thinking we were invading fluidic space first. We were both deceived. This is a tragic series of misunderstandings that has led to wars and countless deaths. And it's all the Iconians' fault. They used the Undine to destabilize our alliances and set the stage for their invasion.
So the Undine are potentially being manipulated by the Iconians. Interesting. Man, there's a lot of stuff around here. Alright. Downloading the data now, Captain. Incoming message. Incoming message from the USS Challenger, Captain Maven. It's Mr. LaForge.
This is Captain LaForge of the USS Challenger. Glad to see we made it here in time to lend you a hand. Perhaps you'll return the favor someday. LaForge out.
Alright. You've recovered the final data transmission from the Unline vessel, as well as samples of the organic material that was used to create the ship. You need to get all of this back to Starfleet Intelligence. They may be able to encrypt the messages and tell us more. Alright. We'll press out.
The Ambassador was an Undine? I'm afraid their infiltration of the Federation goes much deeper than we realized. Who knows what kind of havoc they could create?
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Level up. Alright, what's next? Our mission roster here. Stranded in space.
I've received a report there is a Bolian freighter that is overdue arriving at Earth space dock. It may need assistance.
Oh, okay. The SSs are more than 20 hours overdue for arrival at Earth space dock. May need assistance. Dana Brott is an experienced captain and the daughter of a former Starfleet officer. It's not like her to be out of contact. Your orders are to head out to sector space and find the Azura. I've already transmitted the ship's last known coordinates to your con officer. Good luck. Let's see, what do we get here? We got some stuff I don't really need. Yes, I know. Alright. So next assignment is to go find the SS Azura. Let's head there. It's a nice little ship. I like this ship. You know, I think it's like the amount of time I played. I think I've come to appreciate the smaller ships a lot more than the larger ships. Smaller ships, they tend to be a little bit more...
20 ships in range. This is Dana Brott of the transport SS Azura. Please help. Warp core containment field down. Radiation flooding ship. Communications and life support failing. Cannot eject warp core. Need immediate evacuation and assistance. Please help us.
Okay. Let's get there. We have a rescue mission.
To any ships in range, this is Dana Brott of the transport SS Azura. Please help. We're being pursued by Orion raiders. Crew injured, taking heavy fire. Dropping out of warp near your coordinates. Need immediate evacuation and assistance. Please help us.
Gabriel, keep tracking that distress signal. Let's find them. Orions. Orion pirates. Sir, sensors are picking up several light attack craft on an intercept course. We will need to deal with them before we can render aid to the SS Azura. Yes, full-powered shields helm. Take us into range. Yes. Let's go fight. I guess we can grab this one. Yep. Captain, I'm detecting elevated radiation levels on the Azura. I alerted the transporter chief of the situation. She can brief you before you beam over to the Azura. Alright, let's go. Away team, report to the transporter room. My entire bridge crew report to the transporter room. They're good people. I'm sure the cadets will handle the ship just fine. Really? Oh, transporter room.
Captain, I'm concerned about the radiation on the Azura. She might have some damage to the warp core, but our sensors can't pick up enough to determine exactly what you'll find over there. I'm sure I can send you and the away team to the ship safely, but getting you back might be a problem until the Azura's critical damage is repaired. Step on the transporter pad when you're ready to go, and be careful, sir.
Try to keep a lock on us and prepare the transport survivors. Alright. I think this is the only time we actually get to look at the transporter room on the ship. Find unusual technology. Okay. Sir, I'm picking up multiple life signs. Some of them are the Azura's captain and crew, but the rest are Orion. Plasma leaks are blocking our path to the survivors. We need to use the consoles to safely vent the plasma. Rescuing our survivors is the top priority. But get your weapons ready too. We don't want to run into any pirates. You know what? Let's bring out the Mako rifle. Anybody? Oh, there is somebody in here. crew member is critically injured and you do not have the training needed to assist them. You need to be a science person. Terrell, can you help them? This is why I have my bridge officers with me, so they can do these things. But I can't. Or at least that's how it should be. Whoa. Pirates. I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm a tactical officer. You're just gonna have to die. Oh, I have a tactical skill now. Target optics. Anybody see any unusual technology? Have you seen any unusual technology? No, I guess not. Scanning the warp core, Captain. Catastrophic failure of antimatter containment. Warp core breach is imminent. Captain, unless the breach is contained, the Azura will be destroyed.
We hit an Orion ambush on our way to K7. We lost our weapons almost immediately, and then we took a direct hit near engineering. Our warp engine's magnetic antimatter containment field failed. We had no choice but to drop shields and use the power to try to stabilize the containment field. As soon as the shields were down, Orions boarded the ship. I'll never let those green pirates have the Azura. Please, take my crew to safety. I'll keep trying to stabilize the warp core. If I'm lucky, I can buy you some time.
I'll help your crew out. Return to the cargo bay. I need to look at stuff. Containment of warp core is failing, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. You need to get your away team and the survivors of the ship away as soon as possible. You need engineering to complete this task. Okay, well, I'm not an engineer. Yes? Oh, here's something. Ah, this looks like unusual technology. What is this doing here?
The alloys used in this device are normally only found in the Delta Quadrant. We know that the Iconians have gateways that allow them to go anywhere they wish. It would be reasonable to assume that they have had influence in the Delta Quadrant as well.
Interesting. Alright, let's get out of here. Klingons. What are Klingons doing here? This is not a salvage operation. Oh, they are not friendly.
It is
no surprise that the cowardly Orion cannot even handle raiding a freighter. But their call for resistance has given us a chance for glorious combat!
Captain, there must be a cloaked Klingon vessel in the area. You should alert the ship. Gallant, we have Klingons in the area. Might wanna take a look. Can we not take the injured crewman? The radiation's done much damage. Done too much damage to this patient's cellular structure. There's nothing more being done for them. Okay, so we just leave them to die. Sorry, the game says you have to die. Because, reasons. What am I doing in here? Oh, tactical. What am I doing here? When you were in the academy, you studied mission reports from the USS Archer. In one instance, crew on the Archer reconfigured a plasma conduit and used it to disable a group of Klingons who had boarded the vessel. You might be able to do something similar. Use buttons to clear the Orions on your path. Well, they're kind of gone now, so I guess it doesn't matter. Zarva, what you doing? Over here. Okay, I can't do anything with you. Away team to Gallant, are you ready for transport? The Azura's radiation levels are returning to normal. The survivors of the Azura's crew are on the transporter pad. We don't have much time. Get these people off this ship now. Now, I tell you. Sensors detect Orion reinforcement on the way, Captain. I need you back on the bridge. Alright. Bridge. Captain, incoming message from the Klingons. Look it on screen.
Leave now if you know what's good for you, Starfleet. We are taking this ship, her crew, and her cargo.
The Azura and her crew are under Starfleet's protection. Are they? Negvar. Captain, we need to get within range and try to get a transporter lock on Captain Brott. We'll say Captain Brott. We're in range.
Attempting to get a transporter lock on Captain Brott, sir. Boosting containment. We have a Captain.
Just in time. Captain Brott is safely aboard, sir, and just in time, too. We got her just before the ship exploded. Captain Brott has requested that we take her and her crew to sector space. Starfleet will get them home from there. She said she would be happy to speak to you, if you wish. Yeah, I'll speak to her.
You saved my crew. I'll tell you whatever I can.
What was the Azura's mission?
The Azura was a transport ship, best in the quadrant. Mostly I hauled medical supplies or farming equipment, but I had room in the cargo bays for a little of everything. I have one customer who is just crazy for Tranya. I don't save the galaxy on a regular basis like you Starfleet types do, but hauling cargo is a good way to make a living. I'm helping people in my own way. You saved my crew. I'll tell you whatever I can. There's thieves, pirates, and a whole lot of trouble if you ask me. Raiders have always been a danger to ships like mine, but the problem has gotten worse since the Orions allied with the Klingons. Now they think they can do anything to anyone. Someone needs to put a stop to these raids. You saved my crew. I'll tell you whatever I can.
What happened to the Azura? It blew up.
We have been having trouble with the warp core for a few days. I was hoping I could make it to the closest starbase, but...
But, you know, it blew up.
When the containment field started to collapse, I used every bit of power we had to help stabilize it. The minute I rerouted power from the shields to the containment field, the Orions were there. For all I know, they detected I was in trouble and were waiting for the right time to pounce. You saved my crew. I'll tell you whatever I can. Go back to Bellaris for a few weeks, I suppose. I have enough latinum saved up to get me back on my feet. As soon as I can get another ship, I'll be doing transport runs again. I have customers waiting. You saved my crew. I'll tell you whatever I can.
Thank you, that's all. Oh yeah, I want to take... I want a screenshot. By the way, the 90244, this is based off the registry coding for the Reliant class ships. So the Reliant is actually N0200, and all the other Reliant class ships are kind of part of the N02 category of ships. So this is number 44. See, that's why I picked that. See. Yeah, I'm gonna stop scanning these sort of things. Let's warp us out.
Well done. You saved that crew just in time.
Just in time.
Congratulations.
You have just earned your first skill points. Click here to learn more.
You have skill points. Yay. Let's see. 1 and 1. I'm going to take energy weapon training. And I have a ground point, so I'm going to put 1 point into weapon proficiency. Let me take a... Give me just a moment here. Yeah, pardon me. It's just, it's a warm and humid day now. It's like, when it gets that way, I start getting congestion in my throat. I know you don't, it's too much TMI, you don't really need to know that, but that's why I keep sniffling a little bit, because I got congestion. It's the heat and humidity does that to me. It's been quite warm and humid today. Plus, I can't have my AC running while I'm streaming, otherwise you're going to hear my AC droning in the background all the time. It's just not very pleasant to hear. Anyway, inventory. So now we got the Azura personal code. This will actually summon the Azura for me. It's a little freighter. Let me stick that over here. I don't think I have any tactical space skills yet, do I? No. I swore I... Yeah, I'm okay. I thought I had Photonic Officer on here, but I guess not. That was the other character. I was working on the Ramen character. So I got a bunch of stuff, but most of the stuff's just going to be vendor trash. Actually, you know what? I got some Mark II shields. I might as well give these to people. Slightly better than Mark I. And energy dampening armor. Probably not as good as the polyweave. Well, maybe. Yeah, it's a little better. I'll give it to Zorva. See, I'll give my mission reward equipment to my bridge officers. My main character will probably just stick with the crafted gear I get. Alright, next mission. Researcher Rescue.
Starfleet has lost contact with the Federation science station in the Kasei system. Because all communications from Kasei 2 must be boosted by a satellite that compensates for Metreon isotopes prevalent in the system, it may be that the communications array is in need of repair. Please make the necessary repairs to the communications array and re-establish contact with the science station.
Okay. And... right. Alright, Helm. Set us a course for the Kasei system. Traveling a nice, comfortable, relaxed warp 5.5. Alright, well, you can see up here in the corner here, I do have some bonuses going. I have some research bonus, I'm going to start doing R&D. I got some reputation bonus, I'm going to start earning rep marks. And the rest of this don't have going. I do have EXP boosters. I have several of them, in fact. I don't really ever use those. And the reason why is because I don't really want to level up too fast in this game. I actually do enjoy the lower level gameplay in this game. I know that probably sounds weird, but in the lower levels there's like less stuff to deal with at lower levels, so you can kind of just...
Hidden dangers lurk in space, and the threat of Klingon attack has made even the most stout-hearted reconsider their choice to travel throughout the stars. A last-ditch effort to find a common ground could end this conflict, but there are many who oppose peace.
And thank you for letting us know about that, Mr. Spock. But as I was saying, I kind of like the lower level gameplay. It's just simpler and more straightforward. I think especially sub level 50 gameplay is probably a little bit more enjoyable than going towards in-game. In-game, there's just so much DPS chasing in in-game that it kind of takes away from the game, in my opinion, a bit, but that's just me. But anyway, that's why I'm not using any EXP boosters to try and accelerate the leveling process, because I don't want to level up too fast. I want to enjoy my time with this, so we're gonna level up normally at a normal rate in the game. Provided we don't have like an EXP bonus weekend going or something, which may or may not happen, I don't know. Sometimes they've done that before. Double EXP weekends, I think, something like that. I know it probably seems a little slow, and it kind of is slow to get from one place to another. I could transwarp there, but there is something about just traveling through space that I do kind of enjoy. Just a nice little experience traveling through space. Enjoy the final frontier. Okay, we're here. Rubber banding, please. Sir, I'm detecting Gorn ships in range of the communications array. I recommend we deal with them before we assess the damage to the array. Shields up. Prepare for combat. They got some Gorn to fight now. I'm gonna go for some speed. Rubber banding, no. Lieutenant, readings are showing that the communications array has been heavily damaged by the Gorn. Those darn Gorn. At this range, we should be able to contact the research station on Kaseya 2. However, the station is not responding to hails, and our scans are detecting signs of multiple fires on the station. Sir, the researchers may be in trouble. Recommend we send an away team to the surface. I agree. Let's go.
The Gorn. They just stormed in and started shooting.
What happened?
The first sign of trouble was when we lost contact with the communications array. The Gorn beamed in and started shooting. They destroyed our computer core and took thousands of artifacts we spent years collecting. Then, as if destroying decades of archaeological research weren't enough, they started setting fires. The Gorn. Captain Jean-Luc Picard and the crew of the USS Stargazer discovered ruins from an unknown civilization here almost 60 years ago. The Federation Science Council has been researching this site ever since. It's a fascinating find. There are more than 40 kilometers of catacombs under this facility. We've barely barely managed to explore a quarter of what we think is here.
Okay, I think the car was here.
We found a star chart in the catacombs that indicated that this civilization had contact with interstellar travelers more than 15,000 years ago. The chart led us to another site on Cassay 4, where we found the most extraordinary artifacts. If we're correct, the race that once lived here may have been an advanced proto-reptilian race. The Gorn. The Gorn have extremely long memories. Thousands of years ago, the Gorn hegemony ruled this entire sector. In their minds, that means these planets are still theirs. The alliance with the Klingons has inspired the Gorn to start rebuilding their empire. Every planet from here to Cestus 3 is in danger. The Gorn. They just stormed in and started shooting.
The fire?
Not everyone. There are several members of our team still unaccounted for. Please, you must find them. The Gorn destroyed our automated fire suppression system in the initial attack. You will find fire suppression devices on the walls that you can use to fight the fires.
You'll be safe on the Galact. I'll find your team.
I'm coming with you, Captain. There's too much at stake, and I know this project.
Okay. We got a fire extinguisher, which I think we have to equip. Or do we? No? Alright, we need to put the fires out, so don't stand in the fire.
The Klingon invasion was a blow to Gorn self-determination and identity.
Please, game. Whoa. Hello. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, that Gorn just walked right into the fire and died. I didn't have to do a thing.
These kinds of raids are the Gorn's attempt to reclaim their identity through their history.
Glitchiness. There's some glitchiness going on. Throwing rocks at me.
Look at all this damage. We'd have helped if the Gorn had just asked. I guess when one of your leaders turns out to be a shapeshifter, though, it damages your sense of trust.
Wait, the Gorn's leader was a shapeshifter? Ow. Maybe we should put these fires out. Kind of dangerous down here. Oh, what? More of them. There's one more scientist around. Okay, nothing left. It'd be kind of nice if we had more than one fire extinguisher so my crew could help out. Oh, there he is. Hold on, I'm gonna put all the fires out. Alright, now we're good. Okay, I think we got everyone.
There's another research team on Kasei 4, involved in a dig at a promising site. Given what the Gorn have done here, I'd imagine that team is in trouble. Captain, we have to check on them. If the Gorn have taken over the dig site, the researchers could be captives. Or worse.
Alright, let's get down there. Sir, attempting to establish a communication link to... Captain, Gorn ships detected. They're powering up weapons. Well, it's a good thing my weapons are already powered up. All the time. Scanning for additional hostiles. It appears the ship is safe for now, Captain. I've located the dig site on the surface, sir. There is high-intensity energy field surrounding it that our sensors cannot penetrate. I could beam an away team to a location outside of the field, sir. Ready to transport on your command. Let's do it.
This is the dig site that our team was working on. They set up several shield generators to help protect the most important artifacts from further damage. There's a small encampment under the shield dome. The Gorn probably came in and took over everything. If we disable the shield generators, we may be able to get inside and rescue the other archaeologists. Look up. You can see the shield generator beams. We can follow those to find the controllers and turn off the system.
Okay.
The team here found remnants of a
Shield power is dropping! What is going on?
What is going on? Yeah.
Our understanding of Gorn evolution is woefully inadequate. Are they even offspring of the Preservers? The Gorn territorial claims aren't entirely without merit. but they would displace billions of people. A diplomatic solution could help to save Gorn heritage without disrupting Federation colonies.
He's dead, Captain. These are Gorn claw marks, sir. The other hostages are in great danger. It might get eaten, you could say. Alright. Jungle warfare.
More fluctuations! Increase the power to the shields!
Gorn voices are so funny.
The shields. Yeah, there.
I think did I mention this before? No, I didn't mention this before. The Klingon ambassador has the best voice. He's a Gorn. He has a voice that goes like, you trying to talk to me? He talks like that. We'll probably get to hear him at some point. I need to find Iconian artifacts as well here, so keep an eye out for that.
The protected shields are down! Incompetent fools! One to beam up!
There's no sign of the other team. The Gorn must be holding them captive elsewhere.
We're too late. Sir, the Gallon has detected Gorn starships approaching from the side of the planet. If they kidnap the archaeologists, they should be aboard those ships. The Gallon is locked into your signal and can beam directly to the bridge. I'm not done here yet. I need to find the Iconian artifact here. Okay, this could be a little difficult to find because these Iconian thingamajiggers are not marked on the map. So it could be anywhere around here. But I guess we'll start by going this way. Right, this way? No, this way. What? Oh, it's pointing me towards the body. No. I already scanned the body. Tricorder. Stupid tricorder. Anybody seen an Iconian artifact? Man, I just got this uniform. It's gonna be all messed up now. Captain, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm looking for a thing. I'll know it when I see it. Oh, game, please. Please stop doing that. Damn this rubber banding nonsense. Oh, there it is. I found it. Hiding behind a tree.
This might be just what we need to be able to access the Iconian Gateway network. Until we're able to stop the Iconians and their heralds from appearing wherever they want, there's no place in this galaxy that will be safe from them.
Okay.
There's no sign of the other team.
Alright, now we can beam up.
You are meddling in affairs you do not understand. This system was the home of our ancestors. It belongs to the Gorn by ties of blood and conquest. We will not allow grave robbers and thieves to desecrate hallowed ground without punishment. Prepare for death.
Okay. Mines. Okay. Flurry locked onto the hostages. Ready to beam them directly to sick bay, your command. Do it. The researchers have asked that we leave them here, sir. They say they want to do what they can to recover their research and assess the damage done to the ruins. Starfleet will be sending a team to assist them. You can leave the system whenever you're ready, sir. Let me take this. While I'm here. Alright. Alright. Let's get out of here.
If the archaeological sites in the Kasei system really are from a Proto-Gorn culture, we will have to weigh carefully the knowledge we gain versus what the Gorn claim to be their own history. The Federation Science Council has a lot to consider. For now, though, I'm glad the researchers are safe. Good work.
Hey, here we got my fire extinguisher.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
At a point, I'm going to put it into and the shield capacity. Okay, what kind of rewards did I get? I have a fire extinguisher. I can always have a fire extinguisher on me now. I've always dreamed of this moment. Nothing useful for the rest of the team. Okay. Get reward. Oh, I can get one of these. Suppressing fire. I'll take the Overwatch. I'll take that. Just double check. I haven't gotten any tactical space skills yet. No. Okay. All right. We're making good progress here. So next is secret orders. Well, maybe we can do all Klingon War tonight. It's going by pretty quick. Briar Patch. Let's see what Ambassador Bavat is doing.
Commander Burgess, Starfleet Intelligence. There's something I'd like you to look into. It could change the course of the war in our favor. We have intel suggesting that the Klingons are operating a secret weapons facility in the Hiromi cluster. We also believe the base is under the command of Ambassador Bavat, a controversial figure in Klingon politics. I'd like you to get to the truth of the matter, and soon. To that end, I'm sending one of my top agents to join you on the mission. I think you'll find Lieutenant Van Zyl to be a very capable officer. Don't hesitate to seek her counsel in the field. Proceed to the Briar Patch and find out what the Klingons are up to. If there are any weapons there, you are to deactivate or destroy them. And should you encounter the Ambassador, do bring him in. I'd like a word.
Alrighty.
Admiral Quinn says you're the right officer for this job.
I believe I am. Alright, so of course for the Briar Patch. I don't really like the Briar Patch, but you know what? We'll go there. It's full of explosive Metreon gas. Kind of annoying to deal with, but sure. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there's supposed to be like a eclipse tonight, but it's kind of overcast and cloudy here, so I'm not going to see it. Yes, I don't mind playing game tonight. Lieutenant Kyla Van Zyl. We will be seeing her many times throughout the game, actually. It's not voiced here, but she is voiced later on. Thanks for having me along, Lieutenant. Look forward to solving this little mystery with you and your crew. As do we, Lieutenant. Right, to business. Long-range sensors are picking up several Klingon battle groups. They appear to be placing self-replicating disruptor cannon turrets throughout this region of space. If we don't take out these cannons now, this entire asteroid belt will be bristling with Klingon defenses. Thank you for your suggestion. Anything else? Well, the composition of the nebula will make maneuvering at high speeds impossible. In addition, the Briar Patch contains pockets of Metreon gas. The gas is highly reactive to weapons fire, and could be very dangerous. Starfleet recommends we keep at least 4 kilometers away from any of the gas clouds. This should keep us safely out of range if one of them happens to ignite. Keep a distance of 4 kilometers. Got it. However, the gas can also be used as a weapon. Do you remember the Riker maneuver? How could I forget the Riker maneuver? If we detonate the pockets of gas when the Klingons are close to them, they'll do a lot of our work for us. Easier said than done. Lieutenant, as you're aware, the Metreon clouds in this system require us to maintain a low impulse speed or risk damage to the ship. You sound like you have an idea. I do. It's a little on the radical side. Okay, let's hear it. I think we modified the boostward collectors to filter out only a percentage of the Metreon particles. Then we could use excess energy to go to full impulse without the risk to the ship. I'm not exactly sure what that percentage might be, though. Fortunately, my science officer is not smart enough to figure this out, so... too risky. We'll adhere to the Starfleet guidelines on speed for the mission. That's fine with me. Alright, so we need to find the Klingon turrets. There are some Klingon ships in the area, too. And we make sure just to target them, we should be okay. Come on, give me no torpedoes. We got a turret down here. Come on down. What? Who's shooting at me? Fight. Sensors are picking up energy signatures near the large asteroid. Looks like defense turrets guarding a facility on the asteroid's surface. Judging by the layout I'm reading here, there's a KDF military research station built into the asteroid. I think it's worth investigating. Our Klingon friends are up to some mischief in that base, I wager. Probably so. I don't think there's any more enemies around. Let's go to Get as much speed as we can here. Oh, there is a disruptor turret ahead. So the intel we got pans out. Things are definitely hiding something here. Yep. There goes some Metreon gas. There's some more Metreon gas. Excellent. The defenses have been neutralized. We should be able to proceed. With your permission, I'll join the away team. I believe they're standing by, awaiting your orders. Alright, let's go. Heads up. I'm reading several Klingons in the area. My tricorder is also picking up 2 additional life signs ahead. Hostages, perhaps? Well, maybe so. Two anomalies, okay. Wow, this blew up in my face. I'm okay. Really, I didn't singe my face. That. Hi. Have a grenade. And lightning. Oh, I mean weapon data. This looks useful.
These will help. The Iconians' advantage against us is their technology, but our researchers have been hard at work to find a way to counter that. We've survived the Borg, we've defeated the Dominion. There's no challenge Starfleet can't overcome.
Thank you. These Klingons have had me designing weapons for them at Disruptor Point. The scientists who finished their research are taken away. We are the only 2 left.
Okay. What's in here? More Hunkos and Cardassian Zabu stew. Just what I've always wanted.
I'd be happy to tell you what I know. But ask fast. I'm going to the shuttle bay and getting out of here.
How did you get here?
I'm an independent researcher. Word got out that an interested party was paying a lot of latinum for simple projects. It sounded like a good deal. Then I got here, found out the Klingons were my new employers, and the good deal was work or die. I should have known better. There used to be about 20 of us working on various projects. As people completed their work, they would disappear. I heard one of the Klingons say that my time was up. You got here just in time.
What do you know about Ambassador Bavat?
Bavat is the one running this whole operation. I overheard him say he's keeping the Klingon Empire strong by prolonging the war with the Federation. He thinks that unless the Klingons have an enemy on which to focus their energies, they'll fight amongst themselves and tear the Empire apart. I kind of hope he's right.
Do you know his whole plan?
He hasn't let much information slip, but I know that he found some sort of device abandoned in deep space. He wants to use it in an attack so horrible, the people of the Federation will demand that Starfleet take revenge. The fighting will continue for years.
What are you going to do now?
I'm heading for the hangar, finding the first ship that will fly, and getting out of here. I'm done working for Klingons. Some of them are honorable, but Bavat cannot be trusted. His desire for war with the Federation has blinded him.
What do you know about the weapons here?
The Klingons are planning something big. They have been forcing us to design weapons. They want improved disruptors and torpedoes for their ships, but some of their demands have been very specific.
Specific? How so?
They want a weapon that can punch through solid neutronium, which is impossible. And they keep talking about torpedoes, with payloads big enough to destroy a small planet.
Were any of you successful in designing these weapons?
There are prototypes of some of the new weapons in the laboratory here, as well as schematics on the base computers. If I were you, I'd destroy the prototypes and the schematics. Neither side needs that kind of destructive power.
Okay. Both scientists are safe, thankfully. I suggest we locate those weapons now. We can set up explosive charges and remotely detonate them when we return to the ship. Good idea. Let's find those weapons. You blow up another door in my face. Oh yes! The sweet sensation of explosives in my face. Okay, I think the room is secured. Gabriel, you don't need to try and revive the android. He is an expendable use item. Oh, it's a big missile. There's a computer core nearby. Let's see if we can upload its contents to your ship's computer. The data we find may give us insight into how the Klingons were planning to use these weapons. We may even find hints on Bavat's ultimate plan. Sounds like a good idea. We should do that. Oh, more Klingons. We have the data. Preliminary analysis indicates... Hold on. Something's happening. Sensors are picking up a Klingon vessel leaving the facility. We could really use you back on the bridge, Lieutenant. Yes, well, let's get back to the bridge.
Face to face at last with one of the Federation's greatest officers. I've read much about you, though
Really?
I'm not as impressed as our intelligence agents are. After all, you were rather easily led to this system by a few well-placed pieces of bait. I've had pet dogs with more sense.
I didn't think I was that famous yet. I have interesting records, but whatever.
I have everything I need from the research station, but I must say, humiliating a Federation war criminal is, as the humans say, an added bonus. Try to stop us if you must. However, I won't think poorly of you if you walk back to Earth with your tail between your legs, there to whimper at your master's feet.
Huh.
You have lost this day.
You funny guy.
Victory is mine, and mine alone. Kapla!
Tactical, what's the situation? Never mind Bavat, Lieutenant. We have more immediate concerns. I'm reading several Klingon ships on sensors. Looks like they're attempting to escape the system. Looks like they're trying to use the asteroid belt to master warp core signatures. If we hurry, we should be able to intercept them. Alright. Alright, let's blow those charges up. Are we catching up with him? Very slowly. Give ourselves a little bit of a speed boost here. Excellent work, Lieutenant. Bavat won't be getting his hands on those experimental weapons, and we recovered a lot of actionable intel from that base. I transmitted the data we pulled from their computer cores to Starfleet Intelligence. Here's hoping it gives us the edge we need to bring an end to this conflict once and for all. Yes, let's go. You know, there's supposed to be like a Klingon War going on, but I feel like we're not even really directly involving ourselves in it.
I've read the after-action report filed by Lieutenant Van Zyl. Pity we weren't able to apprehend Bavat, but I'm glad we shot that weapons facility down. Nicely done. As for that weapons research the Klingons were conducting, Starfleet has some of our best people analyzing the data you recovered. We'll find out what Bavat and his people were doing there soon enough. There's a lot more intel to analyze, and I suspect we'll be working again soon. Klingons don't tend to think small, and we'll need the best we can get to deal with Bavat and his...
machinations. I guess the voice actor didn't finish the line. No, it doesn't matter, I'll just take whatever, you know.
Admiral Quinn says you're the right officer for this job.
Yes. The Doomsday Device.
Starfleet intelligence needs your help.
Okay, it's not voiced here. Starfleet to believe that the Klingons were testing for new weapons in the Imaja system. I have information that now leads me to believe that these testing programs are for something much bigger than a new kind of torpedo. Starfleet intelligence has received a message from someone claiming to serve in Ambassador Bavat's personal force. The sources say that the Ambassador's research is complete, and that he is planning on using some sort of a doomsday weapon on Federation worlds. My aide, Lieutenant Van Zyl, will join you for this mission. Go with her to the Donia system. Bavat has a small supply base near one of the outer planets. Our source, a man named Kavalk, says that we will find the information we need to stop Bavat there. The Donia system. Okay, this is where we get our next bridge officer.
Admiral Quinn says you're the right officer for this job.
Yeah, yes, I am. I'm the only officer for this job. Let's do whole capacity. Okay, Donia system's right there. Let's see, do I have anything I can give to my crew? Energy dampening armor. The bridge crew will eat up these power cells like candy. They are very liberal with their use of those things. This will probably end up being the last mission for tonight. So let's go to... yeah. Let's not warp ourselves directly into the star. Boom.
We're counting on you.
Okay, that's all the voice we get. Captain, we have arrived in the Donia system. Starfleet intelligence told Admiral Quinn that they have a contact in Lavat's fleet, and that he is on one of these vessels. I was expecting some sort of coded transmission, but I'm not receiving anything. It's time for the direct approach, Captain. I recommend that we disable one of the Klingon ships and board it. Alright. Let's go nab ourselves a Klingon ship. Yes, Targ and the boss and the woe. It is very red out here. So we need to take out Targ. Yeah, sure, I guess we can destroy the rest of these ships. You know, disable them, I guess.
Shields have failed.
I think we can stop shooting.
Whatever you need, sir.
Let's see if I can get on. Oh, stop moving. Alright. Let's board the IKS Targ. Oh, I kind of missed Van Deel's spiel. Whatever. Loading. We love loading. Lieutenant, I'm coordinating the boarding party's movements. The teams are reporting that the Targ was running with a skeleton crew. There have been a few skirmishes already, but it shouldn't have too much difficulty securing the ship. Secure engineering, okay. And it's just me. Okay. My guys are kind of in my way. There we go. Okay, nothing that way. Yeah,
Your orders, sir?
people are pretty decent here. They actually know how to aim their weapons now. Deck you want to secure. The Gamma Squad is reporting that there are a few Klingons left on the bridge. The Klingons have locked down the turbolifts, but now that we hold main engineering, we can take control of the entire system. Turbolift near your location is operational. Use it to get to the bridge. Now transport security teams to support your advance. Alright. Anything down here? Yeah, there's anomalies down here. There's gas coming from the warp core. I should collect some of this. Turbo lift. Back over here. Hi. Have a grenade. Captain the Tang is dead.
Whatever you need, sir.
The bridge and the rest of the ship are secure, sir, and the remaining Klingons are being transported to the brig for holding. Commander Burgess was sure that there was information on this ship that would be valuable to us. Perhaps it's in the ship's logs? There should be a terminal in the ready room. Maybe you'll have more luck finding what we're looking for. Yeah, we need to find a terminal. Okay. Captain's terminal.
Captain's personal log. I have been betrayed by my first officer, a man I considered my friend, Kavok. Why? He and a group of traitors tried to take the ship. Kavok is the only survivor. There is also evidence that Kavok sent a coded message to Federation space. I do not understand why a warrior I have trusted with my life would do this. He tried to explain, but I do not need to listen to the words of a traitor. Let him rot in the brig. Ambassador Bavat has ordered me to bring him to the Imaga system for questioning. Kavok will die screaming. It is not an honorable death, but it is the one Kavok deserves.
He's in the brig. Oh, there he is. I won't speak to you through a force field like a caged animal. Let me out and we can talk.
You are my enemy, but today you are my only hope. I will redeem my honor.
Why were you in the brig?
I was once the first officer of this ship. I served the House of Bavat loyally and well, and fought by my captain's side in battle. I thought I was living an honorable life, and then I learned what Ambassador Bavat's plans for the war were. I could not let Bavat do such a horrific thing. To unleash such a weapon upon the galaxy for his own ends is the act of a coward, not a warrior. I gathered a small group of officers who thought as I did. Our plan was to take over the ship and fly it to the Imaga system. There, we would either stop this doomsday before it occurred, or die in battle. I tried to take this ship. I failed. Now I am dishonored, and I must redeem myself or die. Do you have more questions?
Why did you contact Starfleet Intelligence?
When my plan to take the Targ was discovered, I knew I had to act quickly. Bavat has much more than the experimental weapons from the base in the Briar Patch. He has a planet killer, a ship of such destructive power that nothing can stand against it. He intends to use this Doomsday machine to attack Federation worlds.
He has a Doomsday machine.
I find myself in a strange place. To regain my honor, I must join forces with my enemy. I sent a coded message to the Sol system and hoped that the right person would hear it. Do you have more questions?
Why do you think Bavat is doing this?
Bavat is obsessed with conflict. He believes that the Klingon Empire will stagnate and fall into degeneration and ruin unless they have enemies to fight. Without war, Bavat believes that we will destroy ourselves. Bavat found the planet killer, and he ordered his scientists to learn how to control it. Now, he plans to attack and destroy one of your worlds. The Ambassador knows the Federation wants peace, but if there was an attack where billions died, would something so heinous make you want revenge? If he succeeds, the war between our peoples will be endless, and Bavat will have won. Do you have more questions?
Tell me more. Tell me more about this planet killer.
It is a ship with no crew. Its hull is solid neutronium. It fires beams of pure anti-protons, and fuels itself with the hulks of destroyed planets. Weapons are useless against it. The planet killer is ancient. I have heard stories that your Starfleet defeated a device similar to this long ago. I hope that you will be able to defeat this one as well.
Well, that was James T. Kirk. A long time ago.
Do you have more questions?
Where did Bavat find the Doomsday machine?
It was a floating hulk deep in the Ta'ang Nebula. Ships from his house searched for months before they found it. Bavat claims to have knowledge of the future. He says that is why he knew the planet killer would be found in the nebula. Its location was forecast. I do not know if this is true. If our actions cannot change our path, then are we imprisoned by fate? Was I destined to lose my honor and betray my captain?
Wonder how Bavat learned about this Doomsday machine. He saw the future, you say?
Do you have more questions?
Bavat has knowledge of the future?
So he claims. I was once one of Bavat's most valued officers, and he told me much of his plans. Bavat said that centuries ago, there was a temporal Cold War. Factions from the future manipulated people in their past like pieces in a Klingon War game, each trying to change history for their own ends.
Ah, the temporal Cold War.
Agents from one of these future factions, the Nakul, came to the Klingon Empire in the 22nd century. They tried to gain my people's loyalty by revealing much of what was to come. My ancestors listened and recorded all that they were told. Then they spat in the Nakul's faces and sent them back to their own time empty-handed. Even then, we would never be willing slaves.
Ah, so it was on Nakul.
Since then, the knowledge that the Nakul offered in trade for servitude has been preserved by a small cabal of Klingons. This organization ruled from the shadows, using what they knew, what was forecast, to guide the future of the Empire. Bavat is the last. He has no sons, and trusts no one. When he dies, all that came from the Nakul dies with him. Do you have more questions?
What was your plan to stop the attack?
Bavat had a plan to stop the Doomsday Machine if he ever lost control. This ship is equipped with Hak-Peng torpedoes. They have a greater yield than any weapon currently used by the Empire or your Federation. The planet killer is hidden in the Imaga system now. My plan was to fly to the system, disable Bavat's control over it, and then use the weapons on this ship to destroy it. Do you have more questions?
Yes, there's so many questions. Why can't we simply send a fleet to Imaga to stop the Doomsday Machine?
Bavat's forces have total control over the Imaga system. To keep any ships but those loyal to him away, Bavat has installed a series of generators that maintain an energy drain, much like the Breen weapon that disabled ships during the Dominion War. Bavat's ships have been modified to withstand this drain. Any others that approach the system will be helpless. Do you have more questions?
Thankfully none. What should we do now?
Help me. Repair this ship and we will fly it to Imaga together. Then we can disable the energy drain so your fleet can enter. With your help, we can destroy the Doomsday Machine and end the threat to your Federation.
How can I help you?
Sounds like a plan. I'm receiving a transmission from Earth Space Dock for you, Priority 1. I'll pass the message through to you. You can use the terminal in the ready room. Okay. That's the situation here. Orders?
Do what you think is best. It's risky, but Kavok may be our best chance to stop Bavat and this planet killer. I'm notifying all available ships to change course for Imaga. Once the energy drain is taken care of, they'll move in to support you. I don't need to tell you how important it is to stop the Doomsday Machine before Bavat can use it to attack populated worlds. Millions of people are relying on you to save them. I know you can do it. Good luck.
Already I'm having to take on a Doomsday Machine. Captain Maven to Lieutenant Van Ziel.
Yes, Captain?
Send a repair team and bridge crew immediately. We will be using
Understood.
this ship.
I'll join you shortly.
I have an idea. All systems are operational, and we are ready to depart, Lieutenant. Alright, let's go.
I'm monitoring communications from the planet. They're not calling for ships, so either they haven't noticed us, or they think we're supposed to be here. We're safe for now, but that could change.
I have a bird of prey. You also have attack parent alpha now.
We need to scan one of the generators maintaining the energy drain to get all the information I need to finish a new command program. Be careful. Bavat trusts no one, not even his own men. He may have defenses in this system even I don't know about.
I have a bird of prey now. fix this while we are on our way. Not a whole lot of options here because I don't really have my bridge crew with me. Yep, that's it. Kavak, what attacked us, fighters?
Drones? Bavat must have upgraded the security. Scanning the generators now. I have the data. We will need to load the control program into all 3 generators. After that, we can change the command codes from a terminal on the planet's surface.
Alright, let's go to the next one. I guess we can approach with the cloak crew. That's something that is kind of annoying in this game with the cloak. Just explosions. I do get annoyed that just scanning something will disable my cloak. That's always kind of annoying because in this situation the enemies are triggered to spawn when you scan. So if you try to cloak beforehand to ambush them, you really can't because game design didn't really think about that. Yeah, I would like to be able to scan while cloaked. You know? It would be nice to be able to do that. Not have a hail interrupt my cloak either.
The generators are under our control now, but your ships won't be safe until we lock Bavat and his forces out of the command consoles. I've equipped your away team with holo projectors, and they're ready for the mission. And Captain, remember that you're a Klingon now. Try not to look too out of place.
I'm a Klingon now. We're all Klingons. Oh, look at my fancy duds. I'm a handsome Klingon.
The objective here is simple. Find a control console and change the command codes. Then Bavat won't be able to stop us from shutting down the energy drain. There are 2 consoles. The Alpha console is staffed by an officer who might be willing to negotiate. The Beta console, let's just say that Commander Talk prefers fighting to talking. The soldiers here shouldn't challenge you, but be careful of the Targs.
The hollow emitters won't fool them. I have another task to complete. Meet me back here when you are done with the command codes.
Oh, it just started pouring rain. Probably can't hear that. Hey, look, we got the bird of prey down here. I want you to think about what I just went through going through the bird of prey. And now look at it landed on the surface here. Do you think that interior actually fits inside the ship? No. That interior is way bigger than the ship model. I think the ship is actually probably close to the actual scale of a bird of prey. But the interior definitely is not to scale. Anyway, we just act normal here. Blah. We need to avoid the Targs. Where are the Targs at? There's a box over here. Chateau Picard. Got some wine from Chateau Picard. What is that doing here? You think Picard is finally dead by now? In this timeline? Well, actually, technically she is dead. Because in Season 1 Picard, he did die. He got replaced by an android version of himself. Spoilers! But is the android version of him still around? Oh, there's Targs right there. Let's try not to aggro the Targs, if possible, here. Some of these Targ patrols can be a little hard to avoid. But they will start attacking you if they get too close. And we got Targ patrols here. Console Alpha's back there. Console Beta. I guess we're going to try and go for Console Alpha here. Sneak past these Targs. And we're totally not suspicious Klingons, I swear. Totally not suspicious, we're just scanning gases.
Captain, I've been monitoring your progress from the ship. You are very close to one of the control consoles.
Yeah, I see
There are
it.
Klingons where you need to go. You will either need to convince them to leave their post, or find other means of getting access.
Gee, I told you that Van Ziel does have voiced lines. For some reason, they only voiced this. I think as many times I've done this mission, I don't think there is a way to convince the Klingons to leave. But I can try here, see.
The Empire will prevail.
Ah. Out of my way, soldier.
Death to the enemies of the Empire!
Apparently that did not work.
I see your mission was successful. Excellent. Mine was as well. I have smashed the device that Bavat used to control his Doomsday machine. The planet killer is now as dangerous to him and his ships as it is to anyone else.
Is that a good idea?
You cannot control the storm, Captain. If you try, it will consume you. Meet me back at the ship. There is still more to do before this dark day ends, and my honor is restored.
Alright. Let's get back to the ship. We're totally legitimate Klingons, Kapla. Glory to Empire, avoid the Targs. I mean, seriously, I probably could just fight everybody here and kill them, but... Let's just pretend that I should try not to get caught. Or we're gonna pretend. And these giant mushrooms. We're on the giant mushroom planet. Blah. What? I love jumping off of cliffs. It's the honorable thing to do. Oh, but what's here?
You? You stumbled into my trap in the briar patch like a blind Grishnar cat. And here you are again, luring Starfleet ships to my testing grounds. The Doomsday machine will destroy them. It will create glorious, endless war and strife. And it is all possible because of you.
No! I will not allow you to dishonor the Empire with your thirst for blood. We face our enemies as warriors, Bavat. We do not massacre innocents with machines of death.
There are no innocents. There are only the strong and the weak.
Are you strong enough to fight your own weapon?
Are you sure you're not
I have
Indine?
destroyed the device controlling the planet killer. No one is safe.
This isn't over. Warriors, attack! Joel, Ichu!
Captain, Klingon comm traffic just spiked. Bavat's forces have lost control of the Doomsday machine, and they are scrambling all available ships to try to stop it. I've been in contact with Commander Burgess. Now that the energy drain won't affect our ships, the Starfleet task force is inbound. We need to get back into space as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the holograms of my team. Yeah, very weird textures on them. Yeah, it's a surprise nobody noticed then. Said, oh wow, you're a weird looking Klingon. Yes, let's get back to my show.
I see it.
I mean,
Bavat's planet
this
killer
show.
is here. Maybe it has a weakness that we haven't found yet. We need to run a scan. Go to the navigation beacon. That should be close enough for the scan, but far enough away to keep us safe until help arrives.
So did that thing just destroy Imago? Damage report.
Structural integrity holding, sir. We're shook up, but we'll be okay. Captain, there's an unauthorized shuttle launch. It's Kavok. Hail coming in, sir. I'll put it on the main screen.
What are you
Stay
doing?
where you are, Captain. I'll handle this.
Kavok, turn that shuttle around. You'll be killed.
He'll be killed
My
for no
life
reason.
is of no consequence, but my honor. No, I must do this. Destroying this abomination is the only way to redeem myself. Farewell, Captain. Koi keles pu glot, koi puk be pu, yak o mat o je shu bui, se mak chu me u. Mashu mana ich mak ko chu, ni pe yin na shak.
I don't think flying a shuttle into it's gonna help. Huh. Okay.
I'm reading significant damage to the Doomsday machine, sir. But it's still active. Captain, we still have the Harpang torpedoes. They might be enough to finish the job. The machine's hull is solid neutronium, so targeting it won't help. We'll need to fly in front of the Doomsday machine and launch the torpedoes down that thing's throat. The fleet will be here to help distract it, but we need to be careful. If we're in front of it when it fires its anti-proton beam, we won't fare any better than that moon did.
All risk. Okay. Need to fire our torpedoes. And directly into this thing. Easier said than done. One shot. This away. Ah! We can get it in from here. Fire. No. Wait. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna need all the speed. Need all the speed. No. See if I can do this without blowing the bird of prey up. I can take like 2 hits. That's the most I can take this time. Okay, it's getting ready to fire again. Wait. Okay. Moving a lot of ships here. Probably one more hit will do it. Going in for the kill.
Captain, Commander Burgess is patching a subspace signal through to us. The message is from Kronos, sir. Routing it to the main view screen now.
Captain, my name is Kamen. While the Empire realizes that you played a vital role in defeating a threat to both our worlds, I am afraid I must insist that you return the ship you stole immediately. I would not want to have to escalate this into something that we will both regret. The battle is over. We do not need to begin another.
It might be best to do what he asks, Captain. The fleet's in no condition for a prolonged fight, sir. And honestly, there's not much about the Bird of Prey specifications that Starfleet intelligence doesn't know already. We did what we came here to do. Let the Klingons have their little victory, and the fleet can take you and your crew back to your ship. The important thing is that the Doomsday machine was destroyed. I'm sure Commander Burgess will want to congratulate you for a job well done.
Alright. I'm ready to go back to my ship now. It was nice using the Bird of Prey for a little bit. Just a little bit.
Kvolk's loss is unfortunate, but he did what he believed he had to do. In the end, he died with honor. Fortunately, you were able to destroy the Doomsday Device and end the threat of Bavat's weapons programs. We probably haven't seen the last of him, but at least now he's disarmed. At least as much as any Klingon, that is. And don't worry about having to return the IKS Targ to the Klingons. I don't believe that there's much about that class of bird of prey that Starfleet intelligence doesn't already know. If getting the ship back lets the Klingons think they won a small victory, I don't mind, and you shouldn't either. There are very few captains who can say they faced a threat like you did today and lived to tell the tale. Impressive work.
Okay. So we get a bunch of rewards. We can take the Parkman torpedo, even though I'm probably never going to use it. And I get a choice of officers. So I probably really need to either have another science officer or another engineer. Technically this requires another engineer station. That's an alien. And aliens can be... Sometimes aliens can look really, really bizarre. So I'd rather not take the chance. So I'm going to take the Bolian Science Officer. They can be my, CMO.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
The Quisha. Kind of a mouthful of a name. I guess he kind of looks like a doctor. Okay. Oh yeah, you need to be in a proper uniform now. If you're going to be in my team, you need to be wearing the proper uniform for sure. Thankfully, the uniform is very simple. I'm gonna be ensign. Oh well. Oh. On with a blue stripe. Make sure the pants are the right color here. Yeah. It is the right color, right? Yeah, it's this one. Gotta make sure the top and bottom match. And he wears gloves. Okay, that's fine. You can wear gloves. Or I could give him a different face so I wanted to look a little bit more approachable. No? Looks like a very grumpy man. You know what? I'll probably leave that. I don't know if I like the name. Maybe like a better name. Checks. Dr. Checks. That sounds good. Bin. Anyway, I guess that's the last name. Checks. Checks Pharaoh. Actually, no. Oops. Swap that around. Dr. Checks. Pharaoh Checks. Okay, that'll work. Pharaoh Checks. That sounds good. I'll go with that. So we have now another officer. All right. New officer. Oh, I get yet another. We get a Saurian engineering officer. I guess so, we'll take it. And again, fix your uniform. You're not gonna have the twitchy thing, because the twitchy thing is so weird. You're not doing that. Let's see. Not the face. Okay, what's the difference here? I don't see a difference. I definitely need to make some adjustments here to the body here, because very large midsection here. Either we need to increase the chest size a little bit, or we need to shrink the waist. Oh yeah, the stomach size is way too big. It's way too big. That looks a little better. Okay, we need to get rid of the twitchiness though. How do I get rid of the twitchiness? Stance. Where's stance? Here it is. Yeah, we can't do twitchy. Twitchy is just too weird. So I now have 2 Bolians and 2 Saurians on my crew now. That's okay. I mean, that'll be fine for now. Durham. What other names can we have? Uchi, Rugo, Daro. Let's go with Daro. I like names that are going to be easy for me to pronounce. Alright. And Galaxy at large. Why do I have a marker here? I did not accept a patrol. Why do I have a patrol queued up? I don't know why I got this. I don't need a patrol. And last thing here.
You've done well, and while there are still issues at the Klingon front, it's time to move to a bigger picture. Come see me at Earth Space Dock for new information.
Absolutely. I was thinking of heading back that way anyway. Let's see. I go for shield restoration. Now I got an extra engineer. Barbaro can be there. She has emergency power to weapons. That's fine. You can use that for now. Probably keep my away team same. When I get the duty officer system unlocked, I can assign my crew to their actual positions. So we'll have Zarva will be an engineer and Daro will be ops. Jax will be the CMO. Terrell will be sciences. Technically, Terrell is a communications officer, if you remember from the tutorial intro. He's not necessarily a science officer, but whatever, we'll kind of gloss over that. Koa is his security. And Elisa is obviously going to be the first officer. There will be probably another position for another tactical officer at some point. But let's see. Oh, looky wonder, my traits have been unslotted. Well, it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, that's probably gonna happen a lot. We'll give them a proper... I got some extra weapons back at my account bank. I can give these characters. I don't really need to fill them out right now. But I can give them this extra armor here. Should almost be back there. Yeah, about 2 more levels so we get to the next rank here, so that'll probably be happening next time. And we can be a lieutenant commander. And then we'll get a few more options will open up. Technically, every 10 levels you can get like a freebie ship. We'll probably pick up the freebie ships just for, really just for having the Admiralty card. Maybe experimenting with builds. Oh, there is a Kirk class. Very interesting looking ship. I'm not going to say it's a good looking ship, but it's just interesting. Yeah, I gotta wrap up here. I'm gonna get close to 4 hours here. Alright, we'll talk to Quinn, and then that's gonna be it here. Because we completed the entire Klingon War arc. In 1 night. I guess I could have done that in 2 nights, but I just kind of felt like I kept going. Let's see. Galaxy at large.
You've done excellent work so far, so I want to expand the range of your mission profiles. There are trouble spots all over the galaxy. A good Starfleet captain never shies from engaging with trouble and trying to solve problems. Within the bounds of the Prime Directive, of course.
Of course.
You'll find patrols at systems scattered all across the quadrant, where enemy ships or local problems need help. We also have trouble spots in other parts of the galaxy, such as Nimbus 3, Drozana Station, and the Defera system. Check into these kinds of trouble spots, as time permits.
I'm glad he mentions these 3 Pacific places, because those are the missions that have been cut from the main storyline that I can't actually play until I'm at level 65. I would like to play those missions because technically I'm supposed, chronologically, I'm supposed to do a Nimbus 3 mission next. Because that's supposed to lead into the Romulan mystery missions, which I think is probably what's coming up here. Yeah, Romulan mystery is what's next here. So. And Drozana, I think you're supposed to do that after Romulan mystery, I think. And the Defera is definitely supposed to be right after that, I think. There is one more, that's the Lost Dominion arc. And that's supposed to be done, I think, before... Actually, I don't remember when exactly it's supposed to... I know it's supposed to happen before you go to... Or maybe it happens right after New Romulus, I'm not sure. Let me look at the episode list again. Yeah, it's definitely supposed to happen... All 3 of these are supposed to happen before you do the Solanae Dyson Sphere, definitely. Within here. But it's unlikely I'm gonna be at level 65 by the time I get here, so I'll be doing these missions much later in the playthrough. Kind of really out of order, but alright. Alright, so okay, we're done for now. Very last thing I'm gonna do here is we do have our receiver here. So we got this done. We got a Delta Improvement reward. Take that. We also get rewards for finding the Iconian technology, which is gonna be marks. And I will just distribute those as I see fit. Okay. Alright, that's gonna be it for tonight. Thank you for watching. This is a little bit of a longer stream. In the future, I kind of want to plan these out to be more around the 2-hour mark instead of, you know, that. But then again, the Klingon War arc is pretty easy, so that's why I kind of just did the whole thing in one sitting. Anyway, let's switch out of here. And yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I will continue this a little later next week, and see you then. Take care. I'm probably going to try to do Chrono Trigger tomorrow night, if nothing gets in the way. Alright, enough yammering from me.